Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up Report. Serena Williams done did it. Old crip walking on the tennis court, hood hopping, representing my niggas. Serena Williams done did it. Which goes to show you that, at the end of the day, we like to play in the hood, but we don't like to stay in the hood. And we damn sure ain't gonna marry nobody from the hood. Serena Williams done jumped the fence, took the plunge, so to speak. Now, one of two things happened. I thought about it seriously. And I said, now, number one, either Serena Williams watched the Wake Up Report, she watched my show on Zoe Saldana and her sisters, and she said, something, KTM is right. I'm tired of these saggy pants, no money having, hood acting, just useless simp niggas and Negroes that don't want to do nothing with themselves. So I'm going to get me a white man that knows how to walk and talk and act and dress right, and I'm going to call it a day. Or she went to Zoe's house and she said, Zoe, I dig what you and your sisters are doing over here and I want in on it. So why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you sneeze on me so I can catch some of what you got? And that's what Zoe did. She sneezed on it. She said, Achoo, get you a white man. Achoo, get you a man you can have pretty kids by. Achoo, get you a man that ain't all hood. Achoo, get you a man that you can show up in public with and be proud of and don't be embarrassed. And that's exactly what she did. She caught that disease from Zoe Saldana and she went and she got her a white man. All right, Serena Williams announced, it was over Twitter or something like that. Just say online, on the internet. She announced her engagement to Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian or Ohanian. I'm having trouble pronouncing that last name, so forgive me. But I tell you about the first name, though, because when I first read it, I saw Alexis. I was like, no, wait a minute. Serena ain't, because I didn't see any pictures. She ain't going that way, is she? Is the male pool selection that shallow where she's choosing from that she didn't went on ahead and made the switch? But no, his first name was Alexis, and I'd never heard of a man whose name was Alexis. Leslie, I've heard of, and a couple other girl names, but Alexis was new on me, man. So this guy's got to be tough, I guess. With a first name like Alexis, it's kind of like that Johnny Cash, a boy named Sue or something like that. So when your mom names you girl names and you survive, you must be a tough guy at the end of the day, man. So, but is this signaling a new trend for black women who don't routinely? I'm not saying that they're obviously they're black women that date outside of the cultures and black men and stuff like that, but black women typically do not date outside of that bubble, and I say much to their detriment. I think black women do themselves more of a disservice than anything else. I don't know if it's insecurity, I don't know if it's a false sense of loyalty to black men, but I just think that me personally, and let's just say the average black woman, we're not talking about Serena, you can pretty much say is above average, but for the average black woman, and all you have to look forward to is sagging pants, jailhouse braided hairstyles, wife beater t-shirts, no prospects outside of the hood, a man that doesn't own a suit, all he owns are gym shoes and sagging blue jeans, t-shirts, so you can't take them nowhere. You can't go out to a nice restaurant. You can't go anywhere nice without looking like you stopped off at Hoods R Us and picked up a man. Are black women saying, or is the signal to black women saying, look, just going out there and you can do better. If you deserve better, then go ahead and do better. But it does say something, I guess, about us, because it doesn't matter how financially successful we get. I just think sometimes black people just don't like each other. I really believe that. I believe that for black men, because we see this time and time again with black men. There's just this deep resentment towards black women. And for black women, I think it's a respect thing. I think that black women just don't respect black men, and for good reason. What is there to respect? In a lot of regards, you don't own anything, you don't control anything. When you do get in a position of control and ownership and wealth and stuff like that, you run off and you get every other woman except a black woman. And at some point, you have to say, well, look, I can keep beating that dead horse, or I can get out here and I can do the same thing. I can be successful, and I can go find somebody that I want to be a reflection of in terms of mirroring my success. You know, the ultimate prize, so to speak, for black men and white women. For you white girls out there, you know, you are the ultimate prize for a lot of black men. You know, so but don't don't revel too much in that victory, because a lot of them, a la Joe Mixon, you ain't really making out too well. And like I've said before, I think black women more so than any other group of women, they just don't experience different types of men before they make a decision on ultimately who they want to settle down with or pick for a boyfriend or something like that. So I think the only girl I haven't dated is Arab. I've never dated an Arabic woman. But I've had white girlfriends, black girlfriends. I haven't had an Asian girlfriend. I dated an Asian girl once. Latina girlfriends. So it's a pretty, I've had a pretty broad spectrum of women that I've dated. So I could say, when I finally, if I ever decide to get married or something like that, and settle down with a woman, I've had a pretty good cross section to say, based on these differences and things like that, this is, the person that I choose to be with. It really doesn't make a difference ultimately. If you date enough women, different kinds of women from different cultures, it's the same stuff all over, man. We are the same people all over. We just speak different languages. That's it. And we have different cultural customs, but overall, all women are pretty much the same. All of y'all broads are crazy. I'm just kidding. Or maybe not. That's, and in terms of hyper feminine, that white women and Asian women own that market. White women and Asian women are the most hyper feminine women on this planet. So if you like hyper feminine, girly girls, and again, I'm not saying that black women, there aren't any hyper feminine black women out there. I'm just talking about on average. White women and Asian women do that. With black women, black women, black men, there tends to be a power struggle between the two. And because black women, in terms of submission, for lack of a better word, they will not submit to black men, not one bit. And even that word submit, you tell a black woman she has to submit. And I, as a man, for me, I know, in a relationship, you do have to submit somewhat to your partner. That's just how it goes. But as far as black men and black women, there is a power struggle there. And, you've heard me say it before, and I'm sure you've heard other black men who have the balls to say it. Dealing with black women sometimes is like dealing with a man because of the over aggressiveness, things that we don't typically look at and talk about and tell the truth about. So what happens is you tend to match up better with sometimes other people from different cultures based on how they were raised and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's a whole thing you can get off on that. But a lot of that, I think, does come into play with how black women like Serena Williams make their choices when it comes to men. For everybody out there that, yells and screams, oh, why can't we all just love each other for who we are? It's love, it's love. Yeah, I understand that, but it really is more to it than that, especially when it comes to blacks and whites, black men and white women and black men. We have the most perverse relationship with each other in this country since we've come into contact with each other. So on the one hand, you got white men who say that black people and black women are animals and all kind of, but treat us like animals and all that kind of junk, but didn't have a problem raping all those black women. And that's why we got all these little yellow black folks running around here today. So it is just this crazy relationship. Black people say that white people are the devil and they evil and all this and all that. But again, it did stop any of the members of the Black Panther Party from sleeping with white women and screwing white women while they were active in the Black Panther Party. So it is just this crazy relationship that goes on back and forth between blacks and whites that sometimes has a real determinant factor in why we choose what we choose. Now, it is a little bit strange in Miss Williams's case, and we're going to do a little bit of red pill right now. I try not to give you too much red pill on the Wake Up Report because sometimes I don't think you can handle it. But we're going to take a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of red pill today. I'm not going to take you all the way down into the rabbit hole. We're just going to go around the edges of it, and keep your mind safe, until you're ready to handle the full effects of the red pill. But one of the questions that did come up in one of the articles that I found was, why would Serena Williams date this guy in the first place? Typically, black women, more so than most women, they don't date down economically. I thought, because this guy's co-founder Reddit, I thought he was worth like $500 million or something like that, man. So, but he's worth about $6 million, which is a lot of money. But Serena, I believe, is worth almost $250 million. I mean, Serena got loot. And what she actually did was she dated down, which is kind of not typical when it comes to how black women choose their men. And for me personally, I think the money transcends the race thing. Money marries money. And but typically money marries equal or more when it comes to relationships. So if I'm worth like $10 million, well, you're not going to catch me down at the strip club trying to find a wife. Unlike some morons who are dumb enough to do that. But anyway, it kind of, I thought of the Nicki Minaj, Meek Mill kind of situation, in that, I don't know, they had some kind of blow up a while back or something like that. But Nicki Minaj makes no bones about letting her man know who has more money, who's in control, who does what for who, where who would be or where they wouldn't be if it weren't for her. So this castrating of black men by black women who have more money than them and have more access and power, that typically is the norm when it comes to stuff like that. But so she dated down. No, this is a little bit of the red pill talking. Black women will submit to white men, whether you want to admit that or not, whether you want to realize that or not. Whatever it is about white people that we have in our brains that says white people are superior, white people are better, white people will do better by you. We buy into that lock, stock, and barrel sometimes. So there is a submission part on black women to white men, that for whatever reasons black women will submit to white men. And the number one reason that most black people really don't want to touch is that that white man can give Serena Williams something that a black man simply cannot give her, and that is a light-skinned baby. He can give her a baby with light skin. He can give her a baby with long, pretty hair that she can stroke, just like a lot of you black women stroke and play with that fake weave on your head. He can give her a child that does not look like her. And he will give her a child that she thinks is the most beautiful thing in the world because it doesn't look like her. Black men, try as they might, simply cannot run away from who they are, versus black women who, try as they might, to blend in with fake hair and long weave and light-skinned kids, more so than black men, try to disappear through light-skinned kids, white husbands, and long fake hair, disappear into who they actually are as women and people. So is it true love? Is it infatuation? Damn sure ain't for money. That's for sure. Only time will tell. I imagine Vegas is taking bets now on Venus to figure out which white guy she gonna roll up with come the future. This is KTM and the Wake Up Report saying, think a little bit. It will do wonders for you.